Stand by. You're up.
All right, welcome to the show, World Soccer Radio, Sports Byline USA Radio Network. I'm Nick Geber, and I'm sitting with Danny Page today.
Yeah.
He's with me here in our expansive studios, which some people think might be in the back of a shirt shop, but, a kit shop.
A sweatshop,
A sweatshop, maybe.
And
it
in
is
Southeast Asia, Mike.
And honestly, it is all that and more. 800-878-PLAY, 800-878-PLAY. And I'm pleased to let our radio audience know that today Danny's here with me in the studio, so I am actually wearing pants.
Nick is wearing pants today. I am as well. For those of you listening on radio, it's a pleasure to have you with us via the Sports Byline USA Network. But let me say, we also would love to have you on our nightly online video stream. The website, the URL, watchwsr.com, watchwsr.com. That good old heartbreaker Nick Geber live on camera with me in studio tonight.
Smoothly done, Danny. Smoothly done.
Yeah.
So much to talk
Getting ready
about
for
today.
Valentine's Day.
I say this every day, Danny. So much to talk about.
You say it every day.
But
It's how
today,
you open the show every day. What are you going to say in late July?
Not so much to talk about, but, some friendlies, meaningless friendlies. But you know what? Today, what a day we had. Lots of questions, really. More
Look at
even.
You're beaming. You're glowing.
No, Danny, more even questions than answers today. We're going to ask ourselves, are Liverpool really title contenders?
Yes.
We saw a poor performance today against Fulham. They came back twice. They came back to win it eventually.
Sounds like United last year.
Yeah, exactly. And, that's the sort of performance that generally one thinks a team that is capable of winning the title will put through.
Sure.
I don't know. Our jury's out. What do you think? Let us know at World Soccer Radio, 800-878-PLAY. Also, has Arsene Wenger lost the plot? Another dour, this time a draw with Man United. That was one of the most boring matches, in my opinion, of the year so far. Arsenal look like they have no spark. They needed some fresh blood to invigorate them, Danny. Nothing happening.
Besides Van Persie being handed an incredible chance 90 seconds in, it was one of the poorer matches of the season.
Absolutely.
Really. And Arsenal really, as well as United, both of them looked to be a mess.
So let's talk about Spurs. Let's talk about the Premier League title, the true coin toss that's out there. We'll talk, obviously, about Man United, what's going on there. And also, we're going to speak to Nicholas Mendola from Prosoccertalk.com. Will be joining us today on the show from NBC.com. You don't want to go anywhere.
Yeah, no, great perspective from him. He ran a few stories today during the matches. So Nicholas' perspective, it will be welcome. We'll talk to him in about 15 minutes' time.
All right, 800-878-PLAY, 800-878-PLAY. Big hello to our men and women in uniform listening on American Forces as well. Those listening on the affiliate stations of the Sports Byline Network. We're going to go to break. We'll be right back after this.
You're into
Danny?
Yeah.
Well, all right.
All right, you forgot.
Well,
If you know, you don't need to record the first minute of the opening segment and the first 15 seconds of the second segment, because the first one is so much to get to today, guys, and that's the first segment. And then the second one is all right.
Right. Yeah, that's it. All right. Well, welcome back to the show, World Soccer Radio, Sports Byline USA. Danny, what's the number? Because I'm tired of putting it out.
800-87. Oh no, not your late night phone number. No, 800-878-play. 800-878-play. Give us a ring. Get involved with the show here. Talk about, what did we have? We had 4 matches yesterday, and then we only had 4 again today.
Yeah, and there were 2 postponements, of course. Everton Crystal Palace was postponed because Goodison Park apparently floated away, and Man City Sunderland because the Etihad went back to the Middle East. I don't know.
You know what? I'm just getting this this mental picture of Goodison Park
floating over to Anfield.
No, like the Wizard of Oz, kind of flying and spinning, and you got Moyes and you got Phil Neville and Everton stars past, all you know.
Well, in fairness, Danny, there were really only 3 matches today, actually, because I'm not quite sure the Arsenal-Man United match counted.
Yeah. And Tottenham-Newcastle was over before it ever started.
And before we get into anything, Danny, we're going to talk about Liverpool, Man United. We're going to go through the usual cast of characters here.
Right.
But I just want to take a moment and just congratulate Tottenham because, you know, this was a club that was floundering under supposedly the next great manager of the world, the anointed one, the next great one, whatever you wanted to call him. At the end of the day, he was a rubbish manager. I'm sorry. He's proven it not once now, but twice.
Well,
I mean, you know,
incredibly stuck in his ways. And I
actually thrice.
Thrice. I come back to the one main point here when it comes to Andre Villas-Boas. Incredible that, remember, PSG was considering stealing him away from Spurs.
Yeah, they should let him have it. Maybe Spurs should have kicked in a few bob to let him go.
Sign Laurent Blanc.
Yeah.
Here's the thing that strikes me as if I were ever considering hiring a new manager for a major club, why I wouldn't, is his major issue with Daniel Levy was refusing to play Emmanuel Adebayor up front. Soldado can't get it done. Defoe can't get it done. Levy said, why don't you play Adebayor? Get him involved. Adebayor, since Tim Sherwood has come in, has 8 league goals in 10 league matches. He was so remarkably proven wrong, AVP.
Right. But actually, Danny, it's deeper than that, what goes on there. Because Tim Sherwood...
Well, I'm a surface kind of guy.
No, but Tim Sherwood is a player's manager. He's the type of guy who put his arm around a player. No, he is.
No, he's not. He's laissez-faire. He puts out his team. He lets them play.
You're talking out of what you're sitting on, Danny. You just don't know because you didn't know who Tim Sherwood was up until, a couple of weeks ago.
No, I knew about
Tim Sherwood is a player's manager. Okay. He is a man's man. He's one of the gang. He's one of the guys. He is not... He is the absolute...
That's what Michael Laudrup was.
He is the absolute opposite of Andre Villas-Boas, who was, who was a technician, who was a statistician, who was an analyst.
A bureaucrat.
There is a certain degree of what you say that is true in terms of Tim Sherwood being let him play football. And as I told you the other day, the great quote, and I've still yet to remember whether it was Joe Fagan or Bill Shankly that said it, but, someone once asked them what they did, what their training regimen was.
Right.
Such a great team, tell us, what do you practice? He's like, well, we practice playing football, and that was it. It was all small-sided games. They do Scotland, England all the time. And he just let the players play. And Tim Sherwood understands that because he's a player's manager. And the players
I'm not sure he has the mental capacity to take it another level.
He may not, and he may be...
Is that a fair assessment?
Danny, he may be the most unlikely successful manager in the Premier League, okay? But he certainly is doing great things with the squad that he has. I haven't heard him moaning or groaning about players or players that are injured or not having his big players come up. He's made do with what he has. Hats off to him. Congratulations to Spurs. They are, in my opinion, Danny, the 4th place battle, it's going to be a raucous battle. It's going to be between Tottenham Hotspur and Liverpool. I think Liverpool will win. I didn't a couple of weeks ago, But I think at this point, and it's going to be great to watch. Those are the two teams that are contending.
To me,
for
it's
fourth.
like the 2000 Florida election. It's too close to call. I mean, there's no way to really make that. There's really no way to make that assessment at this point. Do you wonder, when we look at the top 6, Nick, following today's results, is there a team in there that, and we should include Everton and say the top 7, is there a team in there that you think could just brutally implode? Is it possible?
I think we're seeing a little bit of that
with
the
Arsenal
team sitting in the number 2 spot right now.
Yeah, I think so. I think they've built themselves enough of a cushion in some regards. 6 points is a nice cushion. But
well, I mean, they're going to implode. But if you look at the table right now, obviously Man City did not play today, so they are, who does that match against that they didn't play?
Sunderland.
I think they'll beat Sunderland, honestly. So know, if they get 3 points, that's 57. Liverpool right now are only 4 points off the top of the table.
Even with City
Arsenal,
taking full points off.
Liverpool are only 3 points behind Arsenal. And if we take a look at who's still to come, who's still to has what to do, you will see that Liverpool's schedule right now is, not quite as difficult as what Arsenal have. Arsenal
I need to update that for us, by the way.
Yes, you do.
Really do
but Arsenal have a terrible, terrible schedule now. They got Spurs away, and believe you me, that's a big match any day of the week.
Here's the thing:
Chelsea away, City at home, Everton away. I don't know, Danny. It could be City or Chelsea 1 and 2 in whatever group, and it could possibly be Liverpool 3 and Arsenal 4.
Here's the thing that, to me, when you look at those upcoming fixtures to close out the season, yes, we've talked about City's away form and it being a problem, and I don't think it really is an issue. If there's one team that is so incredibly better at home versus away from home, to me it is Liverpool.
Fortress Anfield is back.
Because what they do at home that they don't do away is they defend.
Yeah.
And when you look at those fixtures, the only away match they have is going to Old Trafford, and you just feel like they have such a mental supremacy over the Red Devils.
They always get up for that.
That's why I like them. I just look at Liverpool following today's result, which there are a lot of specifics we can talk about with the result. I just look at the result and I wonder, how many points are they really going to draw?
Well, you never know with Liverpool because, I mean, look at what happened with West Brom. But having said that, if you will remember, Danny, I said West Brom are a draw specialist, and don't underestimate teams like West Brom going and getting a point.
You did say that the other day.
And you just have to look. I mean, the numbers are the numbers. They don't lie this late on in the season. I mean, we can see the trends. We can see where things are going finally.
They have a trip to Southampton, but outside of that, I mean, we're talking about West Ham and Cardiff City.
By the way, there's another terrific team.
Yeah, I was really bummed I wasn't here on the show yesterday to talk about West Ham.
Well,
That's great.
Well, West Ham, yeah. You're talking
about Southampton.
But actually, West Ham's great.
Oh my gosh,
three in a row.
Wins.
3 in a row.
Big Sam, he's
up to 10.
it.
I'm
He's
thrilled for
doing
Big
it.
Sam. I love
Isn't
Big
that
Sam.
awesome?
He's a great guy. I mean, Big Sam to me is old school English football. I love him. By the way, though, we talk about Southampton and Pochettino.
Yeah.
One of the questions I asked David Mossy on the show yesterday when we were talking about Man United is who he thought would be a good, if they do sack Moyes next year.
Sure.
And we both came up with the two same names, which is Laudrup and Pochettino. Right. Both would fit into that mold. But we're going to talk about that a little later on in the show. I don't want to devote the whole show to the struggling Man Unitedites. We had such a cracking game today at Fulham. That it really showed me a lot about Liverpool, Danny. I tweeted out halfway through that game. I'm going to let you speak here in a second.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to ask you a question.
No, go right ahead.
We didn't get into the specifics of the Liverpool match today, but I want to ask you, Liverpool are near and dear to your heart.
Yes.
Can they win the title? Do you believe it after today? Did you believe it after Arsenal?
I believe they can win the title. Do I believe they will win the title? No, I don't, because I do not believe Liverpool are as good of a team top to bottom, from your starters to the players you have to call on, the bench players, as Chelsea or Man City.
Isn't some of it, too, that there are 3 teams in front of them? On 56 or 57, you would imagine, with City, losing the game.
I'm very worried about Arsenal, Danny.
For their sake.
For their sake.
Not for your sake.
I think they are in a major tailspin.
But were you watching that today, and were you thinking, this team could win the title?
Well, we got a minute left, but, I tweeted out halfway through the game.
Yeah.
When they went down 1-0 to Fulham, and Fulham were, really giving it to them. And they did, credit to Fulham, okay? They compressed them. They took away the space. They took away the passing lanes.
And they attacked well, too.
Yeah, and they attacked well. I mean, credit to them. It was difficult to watch, but, I mean, it was good for them. Yeah. I said, this is why Liverpool won't win the title. because they're going to drop points here to a team like Fulham.
Yeah.
For them to make me eat my words and come back, well, that does start the discussion in a different way. World Soccer Radio.
It does.
Sports Byline USA Radio Network. Nick and Danny with you. What do you think, guys? We'd love to hear from you out there in Radio Land.
Tweet us at World Soccer
Yes.
Radio. I'm going to read some tweets on air when we come back from the break.
All right, 800-878-PLAY, or you can tweet us at World Soccer Radio. We're going to go to break, and we'll be right back after a few minutes. So don't go anywhere. What a day, what a day, what a day of football, as in the global variety, for us to enjoy today. Even though, Danny, as we mentioned, there were only 3 of the 6 matches were played because we're not counting.
No, 4.
We're not counting Arsenal.
Man United.
That was awful.
It's one of those games where Van Persie had a chance to score inside of 2 minutes, and you look back, and had he scored, might have ended 3-3, you know?
You asked me before the break. By the way, welcome back, World Soccer Radio, 800-878-PLAY, Twitter, at World Soccer Radio. And we're going to read some tweets here in a second.
Yeah.
But you asked me before the break, do I think Liverpool have a title chance? And I'm going to tell you why they do, and I'm also going to tell you why they don't.
Please.
They do because, as we've
Enlighten me.
discussed on the show time and time again, the importance of having a strike force, the importance of having a real go-to offensive threat.
Maybe even the importance of having the best strike force.
And now we're talking about, I don't know, if you watched the match today, you would have seen Luis Suarez did not score.
No.
He was instrumental in everything that went on out there. Because he's such a danger when he gets the ball. He draws 2 to 3 defenders to him every time. that opens up space. And when teams are compressing, when they're packing it all in, when they're trying to park the bus or build a hotel or play 19th century football or whatever it is, they all go to Suarez because they know with the ball at his feet, he's desperately dangerous. And that leaves the other guy that's desperately dangerous, Daniel Sturridge out there, Coutinho. But I will say this, none of that today would have happened without that absolutely sublime pass from Steven Gerrard, which was something to behold.
And I think that's why when you look at Liverpool and the chance of them possibly winning the Barclays Premier League, I don't think it'll happen. Personally, I
because
see myself,
defensively they're too weak, Danny.
Really. Mamadou Sakho's return would be huge. I see myself as more of a neutral than anything outside of my relentless distaste for Manchester United. So I think the true neutrals should really be, and those who don't support either Arsenal, City, United, or Chelsea should really be supporting Liverpool here.
They never will, though. They never will, because Liverpool, the team
Gerrard
people love
walk
to hate.
away with this would just be magical. It would be the most memorable moment that I've been through in world soccer, to see Gerrard claim a league title.
Right, and it's not going to happen.
No,
it's not going to happen because
the My Little Ponies might, though, because we don't have those memories
of Istanbul.
Well, yes, we remember.
Well,
Istanbul.
not really. I mean,
no, of course.
How many years ago already was that?
7.
That was 7 years ago.
7 or 8 years ago.
No,
We remember that,
yeah.
but we don't remember. The European issues. Obviously, we don't remember when they were the dominant team that everyone hated. So I think the United States fan would certainly get behind Liverpool and embrace that.
When was Istanbul? It was 05, right? Was that 05 already? I'm a Liverpool supporter, and I'm terrible.
And then Arsenal and Barcelona were the following year.
Yeah, I mean, we're coming up to 10 years already, okay? I mean, 9 years.
Dang, you're old.
So, yeah, the My Little Ponies don't. But, the thing is that Liverpool won't win the title because defensively they're suspect. They're not, they have the consistency up front.
Does bringing in Sakho at right back for Glenn Johnson shore that up? Because what we used to see from Liverpool tactically was that they needed their fullbacks to press forward, but now Sterling and Sturridge and Suarez have so much power, they can almost line up 3 center backs, basically.
Well, it's basically what he does. I mean, essentially that's what he does, if you think about it. He plays, for all intents and purposes, 3 in the back.
Right.
They move forward. I mean, that's their first thought is to move the ball forward. Liverpool defensively are suspect, not because the system demands a certain type of athletic fullback that we don't necessarily have at this point. And they're making some mistakes. That Touré made a big mistake today. It didn't cost us the game. He made a big mistake the other day that did cost the points.
He's poor.
He's not poor.
He started well.
He's wonderful. He's a great player.
He's important on a team that is in
Europe. But he's like Rio Ferdinand at this point.
But he's important on a team that's in Europe because you need about 4 or 5 center halves.
Right.
But you're not going to start him in key Barclays Premier League games. You can't do it.
So that's why they're not going to win it, I don't think. I wish they will. Trust me, I'm praying every night. But
do you think, if you just look at it from a mathematical standpoint, are they 3 points better than Chelsea over the next 13? I don't think so.
No, I don't.
Are they 3 points better than City?
That's a
Probably
great
not.
way of putting it. Are they 3 points better than Arsenal over the next group of matches?
Yeah.
They may well be.
We're going to find out this weekend.
We're going to find out. Well, that's the FA Cup this weekend.
Once they get to their final 10 fixtures for Liverpool, which is they have a home match at Swansea on the 22nd, and then they go to Southampton. After that, I love the way their fixtures pile up for their title chances, though. You have Sunderland home, United away, Cardiff away, Tottenham home, West Ham away, Norwich away, Palace away, but then City, Chelsea, Newcastle home. I mean, they can win a lot of those matches. These are very winnable away games to combine. I feel like they rise to the occasion more at home against the top 7.
Yeah, well, that's true.
And those are the teams they're playing in the run-in. You don't want to say it.
No, I'm not going to say it because what you said earlier was the critical thing. Are they 3 points better than Chelsea? Are they 3 points better than? It's not 3 points. They'd have to be.
No, they'd have to only be 3 points better than
Chelsea
right now
because of goal
differential.
Right, but they'd have to be
2 points better than Arsenal. They'd have to be 4
points better, 5 points better than City, right?
4.
Right. I don't see it. I don't think so. But it's
wins over those teams at home. Yeah, that makes that happen.
Well, that makes it happen. Yeah, those are going to be the critical matches. But most importantly, I think Spurs' result today tells me that Spurs are still going to have something to say about the top 4. If they can keep that consistency, can keep that goal-scoring form, I'm not sure if today was an indicator of Spurs really being good and finding the back of the net and really being the team that everyone thought they could be, or maybe the fact that just Newcastle are rubbish.
I just,
You know, I'm not sure which one it was. It was hard for me to
I just
understand.
can't put my faith right now over this final stretch in Christian Eriksen and Etienne Capoue. You know, I just can't trust those. These are players new to this league.
Yeah.
And I think one thing we see with players new to this league, even
By the
those
way, it's Capoue.
Capoue, thank you. I just don't like saying
Did you step
Capoue.
on some Capoue on the way?
The thing that I often remember seeing in this league when new players come in, even if they have a strong first season, they start to slow down a little bit in late March and April because it is that physical. You know, even if you are Capoue and Christian Eriksen, I mean, the 9-month season in England is not like the 9-month season in the Netherlands. Okay.
No, it's grueling. There's no winter break. I mean, it is just one after the other. And Danny, we have some tweets.
We do
Let's
have some tweets. Ed Hard at Idaho United.
By the way, it's a little more like a round table today, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Kind of
It's
mellow.
fun.
Yeah.
It is mellow. We're more mellow today.
Indeed.
Indeed. I think we're just both tired from watching 8 matches over the last 2 days. Edward Hart at Idaho United says, for the most part, the last 2 days in BPL matches have been excruciating outside of the LFC game, of course. They've been awful. You know, and here's the funny thing is when we had midweek action 2 weeks ago,
They were fantastic.
brilliant.
Yeah.
It was outstanding. I think everybody's tuckering out a little bit. And I worry about the fate of the English teams next week. I know a lot of Barcelona fans that are really, you know, intimidated by City, and Barcelona are going to blow them away. I think Bayern Munich will handle Arsenal. I even worry about United and Olympiacos. I just feel like these fixtures are piled up so much. No?
Well, first of all, don't ever make an assumption that Barcelona are going to do a number. They're a great team. Don't get me wrong.
They're not that good.
But yeah, I'm not sure that they're that far off of Chelsea or City, or they're far off at all.
But they play in La Liga.
They play in La Liga, so it is a lot less grueling, and the quality week in and week out isn't as good. That's not to say that they are not great quality, because they are phenomenal. But they don't get pushed quite the same way. But look, probably the best thing that could happen for some of these teams that are in the title race right now is to get dumped out.
Because it's going to happen eventually anyway. Here's a good one from @PuckLusty10. Interesting. Liverpool haven't felt this good about their title chances since Kiko Makeda was about to come on as a sub versus Villa 2009. But even then, there wasn't this. I at least didn't have the belief in that team that I do this team. You know, they were just always kind of lingering.
Because Coutinho and Suarez, that's
and
3
Raheem
players.
Sterling.
Raheem Sterling's come on.
This is all without Lucas Leiva.
Right. You know, Suarez and Coutinho. I mean, Coutinho is a master. Now, he's a little lightweight, and he's going to have to bulk up, and he's going to have to, you know, you gotta, as Marcelo Balbo would say, you know, if you're playing in that position in the Premier League, you gotta bulk up. You gotta be stronger. He's a great kid.
We're never having him on the show.
Yeah, exactly. His vision is terrific. He's just got to get just a little bit bulkier, then it'd be fantastic. He'd be one of the greatest ever. I think he's brilliant. The vision this kid has. You want to help
him with it? They do. The Brazilians do that, though. They fill out. I mean, even Ronald.
Well, they do that Brazilian barbecue where they shave the meat at the table. I love that.
I did that last week. It was great.
Chao de Frogo or whatever.
How would Fogo de Chao?
Fogo de Chao.
How would David Mossy say it? I think Ronaldinho Gaucho. Ronnie was a little skinny back in the day, you know, and then he became the Gordo. Ronaldo was always a well-built individual.
Indeed.
Neymar is going to need to fill out as well. The Brasileños, they can, and I think Coutinho will. I think he'll be a star this summer. It's not just about Suarez anymore with Liverpool.
No, it's Suarez.
No,
it's Suarez.
Hear me out. It's not just about retaining Suarez with Liverpool qualifying for the Champions League. I think you're going to have teams interested in Sturridge. I think you're going to have teams interested in Coutinho. They must qualify.
If they qualify, which I think they stand a really good chance of doing, but it's not a given.
Yeah. FSG will go spend.
If they do, FSG will spend. I do not see them getting knocked off the top 4 for a while. United have a serious rebuilding job ahead of them. Everton will not have Lukaku at the beginning of the season next year.
Yeah.
Don't underestimate that.
I was
Spurs again. Liverpool, Spurs. I'm getting the impression that this is going to be the perennial 4th place battle for the next 2 or 3 years.
I think United will find a way back into it.
No, not in the next couple of years. There's no way.
Wayne Rooney. I'm watching the match today. As far as players that belong in this United team, Wayne Rooney is one that obviously that they would never want to let go. The only other one watching today that seemed worth a hoot that I would want to keep around is Valencia. You know, he showed a lot of pace on the wings. He knows how to cross the ball into the center.
There was a game
knocked
today?
the ball off the line. Yes, I think that would be the only one that I really liked today for United was Antonio Valencia.
Well, I think Wayne Rooney's gone. I think at the end of the season he's out.
He's
going to
force a move?
Yeah, he's going to force a move. And Van Persie will be gone. I'm pretty sure about that. And David Moyes may well be gone.
No, I don't think so.
If there's another manager,
we're so good on this show at speculating back and forth.
I'm telling you, Danny. I think I've been a staunch supporter of David Moyes, and this is now the third show in the row. I'm telling you, he doesn't have what it takes. He's the wrong type of manager for United at this stage in their cycle. Okay, I don't mean like pregnancy or whatever it is, but you know what I mean. Anyway, all right, we'll be right back after this. And we're back. Nick and Danny with you, World Soccer Radio.
Did you say Eind?
No, we are back.
Einwilpat.
And we're back.
Do you have like a German? Can you do a German at all?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wie Gott, wie
Say
watch
it. American, very good, yeah?
I think mine is more Dutch.
Yeah, yours is
Wie
Dutch.
Gott, wie watch the football
Yeah,
today
no,
and
that's
the
it.
Transfer.
No, it's like Austrian, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine is from going to festivals in Europe, and they'll talk to you about the
Mine is
artists
from
and
war
stuff.
films.
Which war again?
Yeah, this is it.
I can't do that.
Okay, we'll do that later. All right, welcome back to the show, World Soccer Radio. Nick and Danny with you, and we're having kind of a laid-back day. It's been really,
man.
Danny,
Hang loose, bro.
It's been 7 days, Danny, of non-stop football.
Really? Has it really?
Yeah, think about it. We had the weekend.
No, Monday. You know, it was Monday that I watched was Derby QPR.
Oh,
that's how.
Derby.
You say Derby.
Okay.
I
Derby
say
County,
it phonetically.
yeah.
Okay.
Derby. Hey,
Derby,
I eat
man.
at the Brown
Some
Derby.
Great soccer.
It's been non-stop football. I'm tired. You're tired. We've got the FA Cup coming up on the weekend, which should be good if they play the games, if this storm eventually blows over. And we did have some postponed games, but they won't be playing them this weekend because everyone involved in those games just about is playing this weekend the FA Cup, right?
Well, I think this is the last. This is the last weekend where the last round where they don't postpone the matches. And they just do not schedule fixtures. They take 3 weekends off for the. Oh yes, these games.
Well, United are out, but Arsenal are in. Everton, do they have an FA Cup match this weekend?
I don't know.
We'll see.
Do we ever guess? Should we bring him in?
Yeah. Why don't we do that? I tell you what, we've been waiting patiently, and he's been waiting patiently. So we'll just cut through all the nonsense here and welcome, for the very first time to this show, Nicholas Mendola. Nicholas, how are you?
Doing really well. Again, picking you up a little faintly, but I'm going to give my best here. I'm going to give my all for you guys. And while we're at it, let's go with a long E. Let's really Americanize and just start calling it the Derby.
The Derby. I like that. The Derby. Yeah, that's good.
Oh,
that's
man.
good.
I love to impart my California accent on the show. So yeah, bro, going to watch
the
Derby. The
Derby.
Yeah. The Manchester Derby.
Well, let's get to it, shall we, Nicholas? Because is it Nicholas or Nick, by the way?
Either one is fine with me, guys.
All right, because I'm only Nicholas when my mother's angry at me.
Oh, God.
So today we learned more, yet I'm still not sure that we know enough to reach any conclusions today. How did you see the Liverpool comeback against Fulham? And keep in mind they were playing Fulham, albeit it was away. How do you see the fourth place race shaping up? I certainly think, in my opinion, Tottenham going to have something to say about this.
I'll tell you what. I think it's a really difficult, and I'm not telling you anything you guys don't know. It's a really difficult race to handicap. The thing I like about Liverpool is the ways they can come at you. The way they shift up their angles of attack at times is upper echelon stuff. And so I'm not as troubled coming off a short weekend, a short rest week. I expect weird games in the midweek. I thought we'd see a lot weirder yesterday, and then today really came to fruition with that. So, I like Liverpool. I don't know that anyone, to be honest with you, is going to be able to outlast a Chelsea and a Man City, and part of that's me being stubborn. At the beginning of the year, I looked at Chelsea's roster, and I publicly said I thought they had a chance to put together one of the best records in the recent history of the Premier League. So maybe I'm being a little stubborn in that way, but I think Liverpool is in the discussion. I could see them finishing honestly as high as third.
Yeah, that's what I just said earlier on. I think
that's fair.
I certainly don't see. I mean, Liverpool are capable of winning the title, but I don't think they will win the title for all of the reasons.
Love their fixtures.
All of the reasons. By the way, when you say the best record in the Premier League, I mean you are of course not referring to, when you say recent, you're not talking about the Invincibles year for Arsenal, right?
No, it's certainly not.
Yeah.
No, I thought they were going to do some things. Like I really can't help but admire Mourinho and some of the things that he does in his footballing mind. And, when you're able to add in the equation the people that he has around him on the field and the depth of talent there and some of the signings they've made, I haven't looked at anything they've done straight up through this window with Matic. So I'm not a huge the Egyptian guy, his name's escaping my mind.
Mohamed
I'm not a huge fan of his.
Salah, yeah.
Yes. But I've just kind of looked at them, and every time they do something, it's one of those things where you're just nodding, going, yep, you're doing the right thing. You're doing the right thing. So I was just very impressed by their summer, and even more so by January.
Well, Nicholas, it's interesting because any team that can afford to sell a player like Juan Mata and not miss a beat really tells you about the quality of the squad they have, and the fact that they can eject a player like that, of that sublime quality, because he doesn't fit into the system. This is really, when you're talking about now a system of world-class players that is so good.
Pretty incredible.
So well molded together, moving in such the right direction that you can afford to jettison Juan Mata.
Crazy.
Not just jettison him, by the way, but jettison him jettison him to a potential rival. I mean, it's unbelievable. And you're right. There's so much to. Mourinho is a genius. I've come out on this show. The greatest manager in the last 10 years, hands down. I challenge anybody to come to me and tell me that he's not. I know people don't like him. I happen to love him, and he gives us so many talking points on this show and shows around the world that you have to love the guy. And one of the things I posted on Twitter, by the way, and you'll do yourself a favor if you follow us on Twitter at World Soccer Radio, was a story that that was originally in the LA Times and then broke into Sports Illustrated and some other places about a year ago when he was still at Madrid, so maybe a bit more, talking about Mourinho and the groundskeeper from here in Los Angeles, and this wonderful story. If you can find it, you want to read it, because it's a true window into the soul of the man that is Mourinho, and I think people will be surprised what they'll see if they look in and read this article about what type of guy this is. So yeah, I'm a huge Mourinho fan.
Yeah, and I think when you kind of look at some of the things they've done, you mentioned the Mata thing. I thought, look, I'll be honest with you, I was critical of him not using Mata. I'm a big supporter.
I think we all
of
were
his.
to an extent, right?
But the move itself is just so interesting, and you almost wonder if he knew that Wenger would react the way he did, as if he didn't just do it for that reason. I also thought that's a good bit of business, as expensive as it was. I thought that was a smart move for United. I think it works out for everyone all around, and it also says something to the other guys on Chelsea, which is, look, here's this world-class player. He's not fitting into my plans, but I'm not going to hold him back for the sake of holding him back. And you know what? He may have had to do something like that, considering the Lukaku drama as well.
Yeah.
So I think it serves a bunch of different purposes for him. What he's doing is working for me. I hate to beat a dead horse and just say the same thing 3 consecutive questions on your show, but that's where I'm at with it.
No, I'm with you, actually. There's so much more to it than just what meets the eye. I mean, look, if people really discount the fact that Mourinho is going to look at a guy like Lukaku, who has all sorts of skills, great quality, maybe not quite enough yet to get the job done at Chelsea, although that we can all question. If people think that Mourinho doesn't think that he could send this guy to Everton or to West Brom and have him take points off of big clubs, then they're mad. Right. That's exactly how Mourinho thinks. Juan Mata the same way. Move him to United. Maybe he'll help them nick a point or two against some of our rivals. Look, I think Juan Mata is the linchpin of a future Man United rebuild. And so I think that's why they paid for him, and I think his availability now, maybe he can help us a little bit now. And I think Mourinho got all that, understood all that, and I wouldn't be surprised if he even had that discussion with Alex Ferguson, honestly.
Yeah, that's. I don't know if I could say it much better. I think that fits in. It fits in perfectly. There's a science to what he's doing,
yeah,
and there's a science to the way he deals with it. And if you can get past the annoyances of hearing every single day something else aimed at. I thought one of the most brilliant things he's done in a while was his silly little quip about how the other teams aren't taking advantage of their seasons. Basically saying, hey, look at these other giant clubs. Why aren't they better? And right down to the little horses thing. If you're a Chelsea fan, and I'm not, I can't call myself a Chelsea supporter, but if I'm one of those people out there, I'm thinking about buying a T-shirt that says "Little Horses" or something, because it's just perfectly hilarious.
Well, Nicholas, what he does that people don't understand when they see all these ridiculous quotes about him, and that every day he's in the media, he does very much what Sir Alex Ferguson used to do at United. He likes to deflect media attention away from his players and onto him, and thereby relieving them of a lot of external stresses. And that's what he's doing. There's no other reason for it. He is a master at putting himself in front, being the point man for the team. That's what he's doing. Again, very, very thoughtful. There is a reason behind everything this guy did. Even though it may seem that he's shooting from the hip, he's not.
Absolutely.
So,
again, I think we're right in the same frame of mind, you and I.
All right, well, let's talk about a guy that I think, and have sadly come to the conclusion, because I happen to like him a great deal, I've come to the conclusion that David Moyes is the wrong man for Man United in their current cycle that this is a guy that is an expert bureaucrat that's fantastic at sailing the ship in calm waters, that can get you from A to B on time, but he's not a guy that you're not the captain of the ship that you need when you are tossing and turning in a massive storm. And that is what United are in. They do need a manager that's willing to think out of the box, to have a little gamble in him, which is something that David Moyes doesn't have. And I think that's the problem.
I think that's fair. I think the issue for me when I look at that team, and I wrote about this today, at the Prosoccertalk site, was it's very difficult for me to look at the way, and I know largely the same roster was magnificent last year, but you look at the defense on this team, you look at the way they were set up, and yet we just keep going to Sir Alex, right? And we keep saying, is he still backing Moyes? Is he still backing Moyes? I feel like he has to because of the situation he left him in. You're taking over for a legend, first of all, which is going to be just a massive undertaking in the first place. You're taking over a legend with a team that simply, it's not deep enough. It's not deep enough for what the top of the Premier League is right now. And when I look at them also, I think it's almost impossible to overlook the fact that when you take two of the best players in the world, who are clearly two of their best players, and they're missing from the lineup for significant stretches of time, what were you expecting? They can't defend to save their lives right now, and they're leaning on some players. Cleverly's been getting so much heat, he had to get rid of Twitter, was the story today or yesterday. But when I really look at what they're undertaking, I think if you have RVP and Rooney ready for the whole year, you expect people to pick up injuries at some point, but if they're together for the whole year, they're 4, 5, 6, maybe even 7 more points off the table. They're still not knocking on the heavy hitters' doors. Don't get me wrong, but I thought Moyes was put in a difficult position, and what's been damning for him is watching one of the best managers, I think, going as well, and Martinez, and what he's doing with the Everton team. And I know they've had some slip-ups as well, but he did it without Baines for, 6 or 7 weeks? Yeah. I want to say he didn't have Leighton Baines. So I've been just very impressed by Everton, and I think that has been an even further indictment on Moyes.
Well, Nicholas, sadly, we are out of time. We have to go to break. Listen, we'd love to have you back. If you've got any time next week, we'd love to have you back on the show.
Yeah, for sure. Anytime you guys want to have me, that'd be great. And sorry if I blew it on the communication, but I really enjoyed coming, and let me know whenever.
We'll do it again soon, man. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be right back after this on World Soccer Radio. All right, welcome back to the show, World Soccer Radio. Nick Ebron, Danny Page.
Oh, was I supposed to say something?
Yeah, you were supposed to bring the show in, but that's okay,
Danny.
Danny.
No. We need
No
the accent. We need the guy that says Derby instead of Derby.
Derby, man.
Surf and Derby.
Want to thank Nicholas Mendola for coming on the show from Prosoccertalk.com. Interesting viewpoints. Big Jose Mourinho fan, as am I. And I take a lot of heat.
Jose. What if Jose ever managed Liverpool?
I wouldn't say anything. I'd be thrilled. Honestly, I take a lot of heat from my fellow Liverpool supporters who just hate him. But I just can't hate him because read that article. Did you read that article?
I did about the groundskeeper.
What a great story.
Yeah,
and again, I like these articles that show you the true person and not what everyone thinks or what's prognosticated by people like you and me.
It's hard for us, and it makes it hard to cover the game from the My Little Pony point of view in the U.S. here because we don't see these guys face to face. These guys, we don't see them face to face, and it's tough. It's tough to really gain a top-level perspective, and that was a fantastic story.
Yeah, it was a great story, really moving. If you have a
chance,
you
think Chelsea are going to win the title, basically.
I'm not going to, I've been making too many crazy prognostications, so I'm just going to shut my gob and say anyone can win it at this point. All right, folks, I'll be back on the air with you tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. You be sure to put that time in your book. 9 p.m. Eastern Time, Monday through Friday. By the way, did we say big hello to men and women in uniform?
No.
Listening on American Forces. Hope you enjoyed the show. We love bringing it to you guys. You make us so proud. We thank you so much for your service. And, of course, if you're listening on the Sports Byline USA Radio Network, one of our affiliate stations, or iHeart, or TuneIn, or watching us at Watch WSR, we just love doing this and hope that you love watching us. Carrier pigeon, smoke signal, semaphore. We got it all here. Morse code. In fact, maybe tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern, we'll do the show via Morse code.
Game of Thrones, Ravens.
Yes, exactly. All right, folks, coming up next, I think yesterday I said he was the Maradona or the Pele of broadcasting. Indeed, there is only one place you have him, right here. By the way, Sports Byline USA, we are the Barcelona of radio, the top team right here. Coming up next, Ron Barr. Don't go anywhere. You want to check this out. You'll love him. We all do. All right, going to go away. We'll be back tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Have a great night and stay safe.
You guys have a good night.
Thanks, bud.
Thanks, you too.